morning. Glad to have you joining us today. Today is Thursday, and Rhett called me last night late and said the person that goes on the radio with him for Thursdays canceled, so he needed a last minute replacement. So I'm driving down to the radio station. Wouldn't be late if it wasn't for the ridiculously slow car ahead of me, but that's okay. It's amazing how traffic is one of the things that most frustrates people. I think people are often at their worst in traffic. The old cliche of people will be swearing on their way to church and then realize that the person they were swearing at is the pastor. When someone's like angry all the time, one of the things I try to remind myself is they have to live with their anger constantly. They are always with themselves, and therefore they're always with a really angry, really mean person. I get to walk away and go and try to be with people that are loving and trying to get better in life. That person's life is right now trapped. And so I'm not going to get angry at that person or join them in the life of negativity. I want to keep on keeping on. All right, we are at the radio show, so let's do this thing. Hero's voice.
There he is. He's on Rhett time.
Oh, is Rhett not coming?
Rhett's, I don't think he's here this week.
He's here?
It's you, bro.
He was here yesterday?
I think he's away doing something today. I think it's you. I think he just kind of hooked you and...
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Is Rhett really not coming?
No, he's really not coming.
Yeah, he sounded like you knew. He goes, yeah, Richard will be doing from 9 o'clock on. I go, okay.
Okay, so it's just you and me today, right now.
Yeah, so whoever else shows up, I don't know.
My dad was a dancer, modern dancer. He danced at the University of Michigan. That's actually how he met my mom originally. Right. They were in a dance together, holding hands in that dance, and then they started to talk and got to know each other. But he was invited to dance at Alvin Ailey's dance company. And that's a pretty big privilege. I don't know if you're following the dance
I know of
world.
it, but I don't know that closely.
Yeah, you know, the most famous is the Dance Revelation. That's the one that Alvin Ailey does. But anyway, he was invited, and that was a big deal. But he turned it down because he wanted to be there for his family. He wanted to be the father that he never had growing up. And so I once was talking to him, and there's this poster that I show the youth kids, and I tell the story usually of him that was at the University of Michigan for like 20 years with him dancing across the stage, and it's just him on that poster. That's awesome. And I said, Dad, you gave up your dream for me. And he said, no. You know, it's kind of like, no, son, my dream was being the dad that I didn't have. You are my dream. I want everybody to surpass me. I'm happy when someone succeeds more than I do, because my idea is I want to go through life as a coach. I want to go through life where I've got these players, I want to see them succeed, and I want, other esteem is what I call it, okay? My life is not built on self-esteem. I don't have to make myself feel good to feel good in the day. Mm-hmm. I want to make other people feel good and be other esteem focused. Yeah. And when I can make their dreams come true, that's what the key to success in life is.
Man, we have an opportunity every day to make someone smile. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it. You make an appointment with X or Y company and they don't show up, or maybe they're going to be late and they don't call. Just the relationships that are available there, just to make somebody have a little peace when all this nutty stuff is going on around them. And this little menial job that seems so menial, we can actually bring a smile to somebody's face, and that's the most rewarding part of the work.
Have you ever watched Chariots of Fire?
I have.
Chariots of
Yes.
Fire? There's a great line in it where the guy says, you can peel a potato for the glory of God if you peel it to perfection.
That's right.
And yeah, it is. And it's actually an allusion to Brother Lawrence, who wrote a book a long time ago, didn't intend to write a book, was actually terrified in the book that anyone would make this a book and have people read it. But it was all about practicing the presence of God, because he was the most humble man ever, and he just spent his day visualizing God with him and practicing the presence of God.
If I end up distilling it down, for me, it's about being a giver as opposed to a wanter or a taker.
Do you ever read some of those psychology books that Malcolm Gladwell does, that are more kind of statistics and research based. You ever
Right. Yes.
heard of those? Well, Adam Grant is one of those kind of authors. A little bit more narrative than research, but very mixed and very good at both. And he's got a book called Give and Take. Now I'm going to set you up for failure here, because you're going to guess what I'm going to say. So if you hear nice guys finish last, right?
That's what we hear.
So there's givers, there's takers, and there's matchers in the equity of exchange.
Okay.
And this is what Adam Grant says in the book Give and Take. Who would you guess is going to be the most likely to fail at that? Who's going to be in last place? Givers, takers, or matchers? You have a
Who will
guess?
fail?
Yeah. Who's in last place?
I would guess matchers. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's actually givers.
Okay.
All right, givers. So nice guys finish last is true if you look at the research. Okay.
All right.
And then you go, see, that's why I set you up for failure.
Sure.
And of course, this pastor isn't going to say givers are in last place. Well, here's the other side. Who's in first place?
I guess takers then.
Nope.
Wrong.
Wrong again. It's givers.
Okay.
Okay, so what he's found in his research is if you look all the most successful businesses
Okay.
in every field, the givers, the CEOs that are givers, the writers that are givers, everyone that's not trying to take credit, not trying to get more, but giving are the people that get in first place.
That's true.
But it's also the people that burn out, got taken advantage of, were the
Right.
doormat, were in last place and givers.
Right.
Matchers do better than takers. Because basically what happens is, since most people are matchers, if there's a matcher who feels like someone's a taker, they punish them. They
Gotcha.
alienate them, and they basically say, no, we're not going to let you get away with that.
Right.
You got to at least match.
Right.
And they can't figure that out, takers. And I run into a lot of people working at the homeless center that you think they have nothing, so of course they're takers.
Right.
But the ones that are givers, even though they have nothing, are the ones that get out of homelessness.
It's true that everything we have is from our Creator. Everything we have is given to us. It's not like if I understand something or if I'm good at something, it's a gift.
Yeah.
Joel, you see some things they don't, and they see some things you don't. That's why we need each other. There are
Yeah.
some things you perceive or you're good at that the group, our team, our family needs.
Yeah.
And we're not all gifted the same way. And even though I know that, it's a very obvious to me, but when I get in the middle of a task or a project or a goal, I lose sight of that sometimes. And I have to know that's a weakness of mine, that I get focused on the destination instead of enjoying the journey with the people around me, till everybody can kind of get the fun out of it. Right.
I was just talking actually with my mother-in-law, Lori, who you know, I
Yes.
heard. Yeah. Yeah, so you guys kind of grew up in the same church together, in a sense.
Yep.
Well, my mother-in-law is doing the food ministry for our service.
Okay.
And it started with just us taking people out to lunch after the service, and then it is morphed into where we fed like 100 people last Sunday. And as it's just grown and God has blessed this ministry and it's become more and more, people come up to her and say, how do you do this without getting burnt out? You must be so exhausted. And what she said is, this is my gift. This is my passion. This is what I'm excited to do. I don't have to do this ministry. I get to do this ministry. Yeah. Now, if I did the same ministry, it'd be a have to.
The most successful people I see in anything, and I'm not talking about money at all. I'm talking about real wealth in life. I'm talking about rich relationship and contentment. That's real wealth. The people I see that are most successful at that are the people who help others.
Yeah,
are the people
givers.
who give are
That's
real
right.
givers.
Yeah,
and they do stand a chance of they're the most vulnerable because they're transparent, and so they can get hurt the worst.
Yeah.
But they also get the best reward. It's sort of like this American experiment, if you think about it. This freedom, this idea of individual liberty allows you to reach the highest peaks, but also fall down the deepest valleys.
Well, Rhett was not there, so I guess I misunderstood. I was conducting the interview, not being interviewed, so that was a little different. But I got a great chance to talk to Joel Molinari, who I didn't even realize until the very end of our conversation. I know his daughter and his son-in-law. Now I'm going to the church to try to get some work done. I spend very little time in the office. It's funny to me whenever someone calls being a pastor an office job, because I am almost never sitting still and I have to do all my prep work on the go whenever possible. This is not an office job. This is a people job, and that's what it's all about. But every once in a while, I do have to spend some time in the office to get some work done, or I go insane.
What am I supposed to do? Sit around and wait for you? Well, I can't do that. And there's no turning back. It takes time to move on. I need love to feel strong. And I've had time to think it through. And maybe I'm too good for you. Oh, do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say I really don't think it's strong enough. No, do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say I really don't think it's strong enough. No.
Alright, I'm done with the office and heading home and getting ready for Bible and Brew. Of all the things about my job that are tough, one of the things that I love is that I never have to watch the clock. I never have to wait and just hope that 5 o'clock comes. Sometimes, of course, I wish that the clock would go slower because I've got more to do than I have hours in the day to do it, or energy to do it for that matter. But I never have to just waste time. It's about making the most of every moment to try to help some. Kate shared with me that she left me something home, so... Oh! Great. One of the things was a comment on... I need to make this a little less exposed so you can read this. A comment on my dinner from last night, which is cupcakes. So, fitting. The other, literally could not find your underwear. Oh boy. And some clothes. Oh man, I've missed pajama pants. Pajama pants are like such a thing from God. What a wonderful gift pajama pants are to the world. So comfortable and relaxing. Thank you, Kate. Now I need to buy underwear.
Hey, I found it.
Hey!
Tell me again, are you?
Yeah, of course.
Are you gonna make me a star?
You are already. Walking Tree Brewery. Time for the beer, the Bible, basically all the substance of life.
I planted, Apollos watered, but God was causing the growth.
A cat does what is natural to be a cat. Is that evil? Yes. Yes. Because cats are evil. Yeah. Bad example. Okay, let's talk about dogs. Okay.
Oh, okay, dog.
Yeah, cats are malicious and sadistic.
Natural for a dog. Right.
Yeah, dogs do dog-like things.
There's so much more that we can live our life in, and we're missing out on that if we're just doing the natural. Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, who let the dogs out? Who?
I mean, look at you. Proud as a pumpkin about that, aren't you?
Let's talk about milk.
It doesn't digest very well.
It doesn't digest very well. Look how proud you are now. Yeah, John Peter. Is that if you've been in a relationship with God long enough and you are now bored in church or whatever, I think it's because you're not seeing it through the eyes of someone new. That it's now time for you. You've already gotten the milk. You've already been fed the first nourishment. And now it's time for you to go and feed others